my skill as a medical intuitive was probably a natural extension of my whole life. I mean, I was educated by nuns and priests and until I was 29, for God's sake. How many people could say that and survive? Anyway, and in the world I came from, the spiritual side of life was so ordinary that the extraordinary became ordinary. I simply became very attuned, very attuned, very conscious, if you will, of the way people were feeling, and of that I was picking up more than just the average highs or lows that you might pick up from a friend. I mean, you might say, you know, I think there's something wrong with Ginny today or whatever. But in my case, I was able to say, yeah, there's something wrong with Ginny. She's developing a bladder infection. But all of a sudden I thought, I can't even tell you how normal that was. I didn't sit around and say, how did I know that? What happened to me was I said, oh, that's why I've had this energy in me. It's taking this focus.
Myss is one of the world's most renowned medical intuitives. She uses a form of second sight to perceive illnesses and their hidden causes. Through thousands of intuitive medical readings, Carolyn discovered that in addition to our physical anatomy, each of us also possesses an energy anatomy, a system of interconnected energy centers, invisible to the eye, but critical to the formation of disease and the process of healing. And now, Carolyn Myss.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. And applaud you too. Thank you all for being here. Through the years, I've changed a great deal as a teacher. I think most teachers do. And the reason I have is because my work and my research has taken me down a different path. My work used to be medical intuitive readings on people. And what happened was this incident. And what I would do is I would do these workshops where I would have 60 or 70 people, and I would do a reading on every single person in that workshop. I would leave there in a bucket of sweat, but everybody got their reading. And one day I was doing a workshop, and I sat next to this woman, and I said, so what can I do for you? And she sat there like this, and she looked at me and said, I don't know. I paid my money. You tell me. Okay, so being the calm person I am, I looked at her and said, you and I are going to sit here until I figure out some gracious way to deal with that remark. And this may take us a few years, so have your dinner sent in. All right, but what I realized in that moment was that I really didn't help people all that much by doing readings. But that the better way for me to serve people would be by teaching you how to evaluate your own energy, how to recognize when your energy was leaving your body and what the significance of that is, how to recognize when some kind of energy was entering your body, how to know in that instant moment that, whoops, I'm having a power leak, and spot the target that it's leading to. And then what to do about it. I mean, it's not good enough to say, I'm screaming in the middle of the street, I'm leaking, I'm leaking. You know, that's not going to help you. All right. But what do you do about that once that starts, and how to unplug your energy? So I hope that you'll join me today as I teach you the skills I've learned, as I present to you the human energy system as I've learned to work with it. It's the best tool I have to give you. So the next thing people are usually interested in is, how did I become a medical intuitive? You know, I'm very boring in this category of my story. I wish I had a story to tell you like I had an apparition, or, you know, I had some kind of unusual encounter with an ET, but that's not the truth. The truth is, it was the most natural evolution in my own life. I studied theology. I was educated by nunsies. I love nunsies. And, you know, for nuns, the extraordinary is the ordinary. Okay? I mean, that's just the way it is. And so I had that kind of background. And so when I began to have the insight that I was intuitive and that it was taking the focus as a medical intuitive, meaning that the kind of data I received from people was the information that told me about where they were losing their spirit, their energy, to issues in their life that resulted consequently in the breakdown of their body. That's what I learned, and how to work with that. Then I knew I had a very upsetting moment, because most people will report or share with you that when they emerge into their intuitive abilities, it scared them. That's not what scared me. No. Because of my background around the nuns, what scared me is that I knew that when people had this kind of ability, they were generally shuffled off to the monastery. That's what scared me. I didn't like the thought of where the rest of my life could lead me, but fortunately for me, it didn't go that direction. So, let's get into this. Your human body, your energy body, the way I like to teach it is in terms of giving you the model that you have circuits coming in through the top of your head. And we probably do. Okay? And as the circuits come into your head, it of course fills your entire body, helps in the development of cells, helps in the maintenance of your life. And what I really believe that if we could imagine that I was your angel coach and you hadn't yet incarnated, and I'm going to tell you what life on the planet Earth is about. I wonder if we could find the angelic Prozac. But anyway, what I would tell you is, as you prepare for incarnation, what is the purpose? Why are you going down there? This is the reason. You're going down to learn the wise distribution of this energy. Because as you plug your energy into anything, what you give that energy to becomes an investment in the process of life. And that investment gives returns to you and returns to the whole of life. Think of it like investing money. And that every day you're given $100 worth of energy to spend in your life. And that as you invest it, either you're going to invest it in positive circumstances, positive relationships, positive thoughts that will bring high-interest returns to your system, or you're going to make investments in which you start building a debt. And eventually the $100 worth of energy that you get every day is not going to be enough to finance your debts. You've got to take a loan. Where are you going to get that loan? You're going to get it from your cell tissue. Or you're going to get it from other people's energy. You develop a kind of a parasitical sense where you need to be around people's energy in a way that's beyond even your consciousness. You don't know why you need this person. You don't know why you need this addiction. But it comes from the fact that you're literally grasping for energy because you're running out. And then at some point, that actually becomes the formation of an illness. So I want you to keep this in your mind, and I also want to point out, as I continue with this, and think of your own energy circuits, because as I discuss and list the many ways you can lose your energy, take note, and don't sit there and say, oh, that's not me. Of course, I would do that, but I don't want you to do that. Okay. What's it look like when your energy leaks? Look at this image. You have energy coming into the top of your head. And when I did a reading on somebody, when I still do them, I use this image. I literally use like a timeline that goes back to the sense of your birth, and then I get a sense of where you're leaking energy and why. One of the favorite places people like to leak their energy is into their childhood. That's very popular. So you send your energy back to years and years ago, into some degree of parental criticism. And what you decide unconsciously, and this is true, is what percentage of your energy goes in that direction.